got to move a phone, and you guys are getting my fingers because I got to move it. Sorry. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. I am Carol, the owner and creator of everything at CarolJo's.com, which is an online jewelry and accessory business. But we do more than just the jewelry here. We do chat times. We do selling of the components to make the jewelry. And we also do tutorials. Hi, Rainbow. Today, we're going to have a full day of both YouTube and TikTok. Right now, we have a tutorial. 2 p.m. Central, we will have a chat time. And then at 8 p.m. Central, we're going to have a tutorial, but I'm going to call it more of a discussion of us on organization. So we have a lot of things going on today. I don't know why on YouTube my eyeshadow looks like really horrible, but over here it's fine. Oh, just the lighting. So that is what we have for today. So today's tutorial is the wristlet. I will show you how you can use solid beads to create different patterns for a wristlet. We will also use hexagon beads in them. And then we're going to use pattern beads. So, hi Callie girl. Hey Geraldine. I got to bring up my backup account so I can see. I'm sorry, Troll Boogies. I'm going to mute you because that's not the type of thing that we talk about here. So hold on. There we go. We're a PG here. Gee. Hi, Candy. Oh, that was bad. I don't normally just come out going, but today, yep, I was on that one. Okay. There we are. I've got our backup account going. Okay, we're going to have a positive day today. Hopefully no more trolls with not so PG or better comments. All right. So what you're going to need for today's tutorial, 4 tools. You will, because of the number of beads we're using, I need 2 loop turners. I just grabbed 2 10.5 inch. I was wanting a 7. So let me see if I can grab one of my 7s, okay? I am someone who, sorry, I'm grabbing a tool here. I create jewelry and teach everybody how to make it and sell the items. I sell only on TikTok, the items so that you can create whatever we are doing. So that is what we do. All right, I'm going to go with both a 7 and a 10.5 loop turner. Just to let you know, the loop turner, so you can see it up close, it kind of reminds me of like a latch hook where you've got that little loop or that and then the swivel there. Show you over here that, and then it just has a circle on the other end. We put our silicone beads on that. So we have that. You will also need a darning needle, which I don't sell the darning needles. Sorry, everybody. You will need, if you do not have the split ring on your swivel, you'll need a split ring plier, a regular flat nose plier to help with pulling the darning needle through. I just have a pair of small scissors that have a point to them. Some sort of flame. I'm using my little butane torch. And then I also use knot grippers to make sure I'm getting my knots good. So that is what you'll need for your tools. Supplies, you're going to need silicone beads. I am creating for you guys. They will be up for sale tomorrow night on TikTok. Little kits. They will have different color of beads in each one of the kits. So you'll have the beads that you'll need. And then you will also need a swivel lobster clasp of some sort, along with a split ring. It just works better for the wristlets to have that option, okay? You can use whatever size beads you want. I've seen them create it with the 15 millimeter rounds and the 19 millimeter rounds. You use what you like. I like using the 15 millimeter rounds. Hi, Melissa. I do use 20 beads, whether I am using only 15 millimeter rounds in solids or solids and prints. I use 20. Also, I use 20 when we are using the 14 millimeter octagons with either the solids and the solids and prints. Either way, I end up using 20 beads. Some people like 21. If you guys know who I'm talking about with Brooke from Revival Design Co., she uses 21. And the reason why she uses 21 is she puts a glow in the dark bead on every single one of her wristlets. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Macy. And it's really truly about, that is her marketing for her wristlets, is that she wants to have that glow in the dark on anything she makes. So you can do that too. I'm not saying copy her. I'm just saying if you wanted to put a print bead or a certain color solid that's your business color to make you stand out from everybody else, you can do that. Can I get one? I subbed. I don't give away my wristlets right now. I'm doing an in-person show. Thank you for subbing though. I don't do giveaways unless we do the giveaways that we do when we get 10 shares and 10,000 likes. Then we do giveaways. And right now I'm giving dollars off of products. So you can do that. You guys are more than welcome to do that. Right now, I'm just not giving away my jewelry or the things that I make because I do have an in-person show and I need to have some of that for that. So sorry. I only have so many hours in the day to make stuff. Hi, Angela. How are you? So you can use any type of silicone bead, any size that you want. You just need to make it big enough that it's going to go over the wrist and rest comfortably there. So what I'm going to do, the first one, is I'm going to use some red, white, and blue beads again. I did do red, white, and blue. I'm not going to create this exact one again. We're going to do it in a different pattern to show you how if you do different things, it just shows it differently. So let me point you guys down. When I point you down, yep, this is one of them. And I'm going to show you how to make them, Macy, if you want to stick around. Those are 15 millimeter silicone beads, Jupiter. So I'm going to point you down. I'm going to tell you on YouTube, once I point you down to my table, okay, then what happens is I cannot see your comments. I do have a backup account of YouTube, or of TikTok, I mean, and if I look at it, I can see it. Yep. They come in, silicone beads come in usually rounds 9, 12, 15, and 19. I do have different colors. These are just what I have on my, what I had grabbed when I started, okay? All right, I'm going down, so I'm not going to be able to see all your comments, so sorry, but let me go down here. There, you guys both should be able to see my bead mat now. All right. Let me get you guys over a little bit more. You guys are off center for some reason. Let me see if that's better. There we go. I think we're good now. The first one, like I said, I was going to do, I'm going to do in red, white, and blue again. Oh, cool. That's cool, Angela. If you have different tips or tricks, you let me know, okay? I'm going to use 5 of each color of the red and the blue. And then I'm going to use 5 of the white twice. There we go. And then I'm going to get rid of the rest of the beads off the bead mat so they're not in my way. So what I did here is that I just went red, white, blue, white, red, white, blue, white. That was the pattern I used for this one. You can do it differently, however you want. If you wanted to use 4 beads and do sections, like quarter it off, you can do that. I'm going to do like 5 and 5. So I'm going to grab 5 white and put them on. I want to see what it looks like. This was my thought when I was thinking this one through. I don't know how it's going to look. So all I'm doing is putting the beads on the bead looper, or the looper. And then, almost got myself with the looper, but I didn't. So that, and then we would do, I'm just going to do like 3 of the white here. We're going to fill this one up like that. Take my other small one. Got to think this through. This will come off. So the blue's got to go first. When you're doing a pattern, you have to stop and think about it when you're using 2 loop turners. So I have, when you have it all done, the way to think of it is it's going to look this way. Am I in love with it? I don't know, but I'm going to try it. You can do different patterns to make it. Now for the string, I just do a piece about the length of my arm and part of my body, and then I cut it off. I don't have an exact measurement that I use for this. So what I'm going to do, let me make sure, yep, I got enough. I am going to put my cord, which this is just a nylon cord that's 1.5 millimeters in length or diameter. Then you can take and just push this down. I just hold my finger up here in the loop part, and I hold my other fingers on the outside of the beads and just push it down. The reason why I do it on the outside of the beads is if you're pulling this down, this you can end up jabbing yourself with this part of it. And I just don't want to do that. So I hold it on the outside. And there is part of my beads. Now here is where I want these beads to go. Let me grab that looper. Do that same thing. Put it on. Push these down. Hold this on the outside of the beads. Put your fingers to help pull it down. And then it goes through. I'm going to put this in the middle more. What else do I do, Macy? I'm looking down. I make all kinds of jewelry. If you go and look at the live videos, you'll see some of my tutorials of different things I make. I made just a simple knot there. And I'm going to pull it tight. And then a second time, I'm going to make a knot. This time on the ends, I am going to make a knot on each end. And I put my end through twice just to make my knot a little bit bigger on the end. And push that all the way to the end. Then use your knot grippers if you prefer to. I do because I do not have enough strength in my hands to make these tight. So I prefer to use something like the knot gripper. And then you just pull that. And it becomes very, let me go a little bit. There we go. It's not, I was going to say, it's not like flimsy, but it still moves a little bit, but it pops back into the circle. And then take those off. Cut off your knots. Use your darning needle. I am using a nylon cord, Deborah, that is a 1.5 millimeter size cord. You can use 1.5 or 2. The 2 will make it more This one was made with a 2. Do you see how it doesn't bounce as much as this one? Does that make sense? Now, naturally, you're not, when you're in here, one side will go towards the blue beads and one side of your knot will go towards the white. So you want to look at it and which one, like this one here, you can already tell this one is pointing to the blue. So I'm going to have that one go back through the blue. The one here, if I took this off and dangled it, is going to point to the white. So I'm going to have that one go through the white. You're welcome. Somebody's comment was filtered on TikTok. So if that was you, go ahead and try rewording it. And you're going to want to go through 1 or 2 beads here. And sometimes you can only get through 1 bead at a time, just depending on how tight it is. There we go. He's going to come out. This is where my pliers come into play. And I grab that darning needle. Okay. And I was going to say, Angela on TikTok says she uses more beads so she can make a bigger wristlet. So we don't all have the same size, and that is true. So you can add or subtract beads depending on wristlet sizes. All right, we're going to get that one through. So we've gotten through twice 2 beads on this side. I'm going to do the same thing with this end. So once again, through 1 bead, and then, oh, I can get through 2 on this one. Now, you can, because everybody's right here, the size of your, there is bigger for different people. Mine is small, so I can't, so for me, this sometimes I have to be careful because they fly off. And this is the average size. I have an average size wrist, but when you look at my body, it doesn't look average sized. You can choose here to create a little loop and bring that tail through here and pull this really tight. You can use your pliers because now this isn't that big, and just pull that tight. Okay. Do the same thing over here. Create a loop, bring it under, and bring it through. So if you look at this, I'll do it again. I create a loop, go under, and bring it through the loop. And then grab your pliers and bring that in really tight. There we go. So now I need to cut off my little ends here. I just go like this and move it so I can see in there. And then I come in and cut off that piece really close. But you see it's a little bit jaggy. So that's when we take, you can use a lighter if you want, if you don't have a butane torch. And I used a lighter for a long time. We're going to get that, all those frayed edges off, and then just pull it a little bit, and that knot will go in one of the beads. There we go. I got it in there. So that's one side. Now we're going to do that same thing here to cut off this end because we already have our knot. We're going to cut really close to our knot. You see how we've got that frayed edge? We don't want that. That's where the butane or a lighter comes into play. There we go. See how now it's not frayed, but we still have that knot look? And we're going to pull them into a bead. There we go. Whoop, we pulled that one out. There we go. There. Oh, you know what we did wrong, everybody? We forgot to put our thing on. So we're going to redo this one. It's a learning curve. When you do that, for the rest of the day, when you're making these, I got to find where, there I can cut. There is a way that you can get it on there. I just don't have the strength to get that on there. So I'm just going to cut this apart and we're going to redo it. I know you can. I cannot do it. I have tried it many times. This is not my first rodeo, and it's not my first time of forgetting to do that. So I am going to set this out right away here so I don't do that again. I use my split ring pliers to put that on. It just opens it up so that you don't have to use your fingernails and hurt your fingernails. Oh, thanks, Sally Ann. We're all in this together. We all make the same things. We do the same thing. So, all right, we're going to do this one again. We're going to put the beads on. Hi, I cannot read the name there. So I'm just going to say hi because it's pointing down. Thank you, Julie, for the follow. So once again, we're putting the 5 white. We're going to put our 5 red. Yep, it just, after a while, you will remember it, and then every once in a great while, you will forget. All right, I'm going to do 3 white on this one. There. And then we're going to take our smaller one and do the blue. I do it in an arm length. Let me measure it after I cut it off, okay? So I'll tell you. I literally do this. I grab it. I got an arm length and part of my body, and then I cut. So this one is 18, about 28 inches. That helps you out. We're once again going to put our loop turner on our cord on the loop turner. So we just, at the very end. Do it at the very end and not the middle. I'll explain why. Sometimes with the, this will poke and you will fray this. You'd rather have that fray where you're going to cut it off rather than at a part in the middle of your design. So we're going to take our other loop turner here. And then put the other one on. And you want to make sure, because you're using 2 of them, that you're using them in the right manner to get your pattern to go through. All right. Now, I'm going to move stuff. I got stuff all over here now. Oh, almost forgot again. We got it. This is the spot where you put that on. And see, when you have that split ring, it allows this to move freely on your design, on the wristlet. All right. We are going to tie a knot, get it really close. I don't use my loop or my knot grippers yet. I will do it on this second one. We'll put our second knot in here. We're going to get it close, but now I'm going to put a knot on each end of the cord. There. Now I'm going to use my knot grippers and just wind this around. Wind this one around too. There. Now we're going to pull it tight. He's want to slip. There we go. All right, we got our knot in there. We're going to take these off. Come on out. There we go. Cut off our knots. And you don't have to use the knot gripper if you've got good strength in your hands to do that. I am using nylon cord that is 1.5 millimeters. This is going towards the blue, so we're going to do that one to the blue side. Try to go through. He's not going to be able to go through both at the same time. We'll do one. The ring and hook that we just had those up for sale recently on a silicone bead sale. They were 25 cents a piece. I am out of them right now with the ones that I had up. I need to go downstairs and look and see what I have in my box back stock, Geraldine. The loop turners are $1.50 each, and I do have both sizes still available. Okay, we're gonna pull this one. Sometimes you can pull these through without the pliers, and sometimes I need the pliers. I can tell already I'm gonna need it on this one. Yeah, you can use the pliers to pull them tight, or you can use the knot grippers, or you can use your hands. We're gonna create that loop on one side and go through it with our cord. I'm gonna grab my pliers to pull that tight. Jeez, that one popped. Wow. We're going to do the same thing on the blue side here. We're going to create that loop. I just use my finger to create the loop like that and then bring it through. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go back through. Okay, I'm like trying to read. I think Rainbow's writing all the directions there. I do not sell the knot grippers yet. We're trying to figure out how to do all that. Okay, I cut off an edge. It's frayed. We're going to use the butane here. We're going to bring it down. Ooh. And then we're going to hide that. Ooh, that one stunk because there we go. We got that hidden in there. There we go. All right, we're going to cut this one off, and then we're going to hide that knot. So I cut it off. Fray this. There we go. Try getting that one in there. There we go. We got them hidden. Now it's done right. Woo! So that is it. The split ring here, I usually use a 25 millimeter split ring or around that size because you want it to be bigger than the 15 millimeter beads here. Nope, that's okay. I didn't say what size that was. And then we just have a lobster clasp. This one has just this right here. There's different styles of that. So that is the first one. Now we got it right. All right, I need to write down some notes here of what people put in the comments. So hold on. And I also want to drink of my Dr. Pepper that I left on my other table. I found once I got knot grippers, everybody, it was amazing. All right, Geraldine needs a 7 and a 10.5 loop turner. I'm just going to go back through comments and make sure I've got them all. And Paula, and that's Paula W. You want both sides of those? You want the 7 and the 7.5? Or 7 and 10.5. I'm sorry, it's 10.5. Okay. All right. Hi, Rosie. Okay, I got through the comments now. Yep. I will have this. Cherie, you want one of each? I will put that down. Gotcha. So I have Geraldine, Paula, and Cherie each for a set. Okay. That's the first wristlet that we're going to do today. Okay. These are what I'm going to use also for my show, my in-person show. Next, I am going to use colors that are solid and prints. Okay, let me write that down for you, Rainbow. Oh, yeah, I hit my elbow. There we go. Got it. I'll just add those to your guys' invoices. So now here, what I did with this one is that I have a printed bead here that has different colors on it. So I went and tried to find colors that were really close to that. So I grabbed 3 pattern ones, or 3 solids. And now I just need to figure out my pattern with that. You could do solid like this, where we could do it like that. I think I want to do it this way. Or maybe... And so I'm just going to lay this out. I lay out more on my bead mat just to get my colors to see, do I like that or do I want to change it? I have not sold the 1.5 in a while. I just got it back in, and I will have the 1.5 millimeter white up for sale next week because we just got it in. The 2 millimeter, I don't know what I have on hand off the top of my head. So just trying to see if I like this pattern. You got to go over there. I'm going to move these. I think I'm okay with that. Something's just not hitting me with this for some reason. Nope, it's not that. It's not that either. We're going with this one. All right, I'm going to cut off my piece. Whoop. Gonna load up my loop turners. When I have patterns like this way, I will do 3 of the set on the larger loop turner, and I'll do 2 on the shorter one. So there's the 3, and then I'll do the 2 here. All right, we'll take the longer one first, put our cord on there, push that down, and pull these down. Once again, remember, whoops, I gotta put that one, I'm gonna put that one on the top of this one. I was pulling on him and I pulled the wrong way. What I was gonna say on here is remember to keep your fingers on the side of the beads. There we go. So that you don't get hurt by the loop turner. There we go. We're just gonna put it in half and try to get them about halfway down. And you know what we gotta remember? Our keychain. We're not going to try to do that one again. Open that up, put the keychain on. There. Whoop. My tool got stuck in there. When I went to pull away, I pulled off the swivel lobster clasp. There we go. Got that there. Put that on. Push that down. Ta-da! It's on there. Then make an X and just pull it together. Make another X. I hold on getting that tight because I'm going to use my knot grippers, and I like to have the knot there. You don't have to have the knot on the end for the knot grippers, but it helps it. Did you have to go, Angela, or do you have a question? And I wrap that around, and then pull it. All right. We're going to take that off, cut these off. Darning needle. If, like I said, naturally it goes. Do you see the natural progression of which way they go? This one I'm going to go this way. This one I'm going to go that way. Oh, I gotcha. I was like, yeah, thank you for the applause because I remembered. We're going to go through one. I got through that one. Okay. And now we're going to go through a second one. Sometimes you can do it with your hands. Sometimes you can't, just depending on the bead. All right. We're going to do that on this other side. Get it through one. Get it through the other. There. And now we're going to create our loop and go underneath and through the loop to create a knot on this end. And then pull that tight. On this end, we're going to do the same thing. Create that loop. Bring it through. Pull it. I could tell I'm going to need the pliers for this one. All right, we got that one. All right. Scissors to cut off our little ends. The little torch to get rid of our frayed end. I kind of burnt him a little. Whoops. That can happen. Now we're going to pull that in, trying to get that in. There. Just need to go this way. Whoop, I pulled him all the way. Woo. I am really pulling this one too hard. There we go. I might need to redo this because I started pulling on it and I started moving my knots. And that can happen if you pull too hard. Hello, Spark. Sorry, it's down so I can't see comments. I have So I am, once again, I'm going to redo this one. I do not like it, so I'm going to redo it. And it's because I started pulling too hard on it when I was trying to hide my loop or my knot when I burnt it. So you can burn the ends of that and they turn yellowish and it makes it a clump. So don't get it too hot is what I'm trying to tell you. So that was, our pattern was the print, the pink, the brown, the blue. And I just started using the torch recently. I used to use a lighter. And then I bought the torch because I was like, I want to try it. So then I bought it. But it comes, you have to buy the butane separately. And I couldn't figure out how to get it in there. So I went to my husband and I'm like, hey, can you get this in there? And he looked at me and he goes, why did you buy one? And I said, because I needed it for my beads. And he's like, I have a whole bunch out in the shop. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. Thanks, Elizabeth, for the follow. All right, let's go ahead and restring this one. Let's try to not kill the knots as much. All right. See, right here, I told you sometimes you'll fray that. Do you see where that's a little bit of a fray there? That is what you want to have at the end that you're going to cut off rather than being at the part where you're going to have your design. That's why you do this at the end. Yep, this is the right way. Just double checking my pattern to make sure I'm putting them on there the right way, and I did. Okay, let me get this to the middle. Get your keychain on there. Okay. Bring this together. Okay. And then another knot. But before I get that really good, let's put the knots on the end for our gripper. There, and that's, whoop, he wants to come off. There we go. Get in there, pull that tight. Ooh, our knot is hidden already. I like that when that happens right away. Cut off our little knots here. Put it on here. This one naturally goes to this side. My knot is hidden in this bead already. He just automatically went in there. So he is very, very tight. So for sure going to need this to pull that through. Thank you, Luna, for the follow. If anybody else is following and I didn't see it because I'm pointing down, just know I do appreciate all the follows. There we go. We're getting the second one through on the one side. Now we're going to go this way. Get that needle on there. I'm only going to get this one through one bead, I think, because he's a little bit shorter on this side. Maybe I can get it through the other one and still get my loop. Because our big thing is I want to get that second. You don't have to do that second knot on each end. I just like to do it. Oh, yeah, I can do it. All right, he's not going to be a very long string, but we got it. All right, we created our loop. We're going to pull this tight. There we go. That's a lot better. Create this loop. Get it. All right, we got that one pulled down in. Cut off our ends, and then we're going to not burn them, but just singe. How's that for a wording? There we go. Okay. I'm going to pull this a little bit. There we go. Now, if we were to do this with one of the printed beads, if we're right next to it, you have to be very careful when you're using the butane or the flame around a printed bead, because the printed beads will do the whole, they will singe from the heat. There we go. We finally got that one done. There is our printed one. Whew. That is that one. Now, our last one that we're going to work on today, I'm going to make 3 of them here, is we have a solid bead. Even though it looks like a printed bead, in the world of when you buy silicone beads, the ones that are like this marbly effect, they do call those a solid. So we're going to do that. And we also have a 14 millimeter octagon. And then I have 2 sets of the 15 millimeter rounds, 2 sets of 5. So my thought for this pattern was going to be the gray, white, purple, like this. Oh, I got it in my hand. I'm like, where is that last one? Don't hide it in your hand. There we go. So that was what I was thinking for the pattern for this one when I picked it out. Thanks, Melissa. So I'm going to put that on my loop turner.
I'm having trouble connecting. I'll keep trying.
Every time I say your name, Melissa, I do not know why my Alexa takes off. Now that I said her name, now she's really waking up. And your name is the only one. Thanks, Candy. All right, just getting the last one there. So now we have 5 of our pattern. We are going to get our cut that off. Use our loop turner to get that on there. Turn it upside down. I know. And you're just like, sometimes it freaks you out because you're like, I didn't ask you anything. All right, same thing here. That one around. You have to have a bead, Cherie, that is 2 millimeter hole. And finding glass and you can find the acrylics. So if you noticed, I did not put any acrylics on these. You can if you want. And that could be your thing, you know, like I was talking about with Brooke and her having the glow in the dark. You could put an acrylic bead on there and that be yours. With an acrylic bead, they do not, because they only have a 2 millimeter hole, you cannot get the loop turner along with 2 like this over like this through an acrylic bead more times than not. It's too large. So to get an acrylic on, you just cinch the end here and make it into a point to make it like it's a needle, and you can get it on that way. So literally a lot of the acrylics will have, I would say probably 75% of the larger acrylic beads have a 2 millimeter size hole so that you can get them on the cord. But that's how you would do it. All right, once again, we're going to tie our knot, the first one, just get it down in there. And then we're going to tie the second knot. And then we are going to tie a knot on each end. We're going to pull that one tight. Oh, I heard it pop. There we go. You will hear when you're doing this, sometimes you'll hear the popping of them going and getting that knot in there. Yep, and it's your choice what shapes of beads. You could even do 19 millimeter size beads with a 17 millimeter octagon. You know, you can do whatever you want to make them. I'm just showing you with 15 and 14 millimeter size beads. You just need to realize that if you go with a larger bead, you don't need as many because your diameter on the inside is going to be larger. All right, we're going to put our thread through here. Ouch, I just pinched myself with the pliers. And once again, like that. Hi, Ashley. And I had asked a while back about what size beads you guys wanted for the silicones. And instead of going with 19, most of you asked for the, I got the knot in the way and going through this one. There we go. You guys asked for the 12. So I brought in a whole bunch of 12s. My question is, I'm still working on my order for silicone beads. Would you guys want 19? Do you guys want me to order a few 19s or not? I have no idea what the cost would be per bag because I don't usually do per bead on the silicones. You're right, Deborah. I did it again. It's sitting. It's buried underneath the bags. That's why I didn't see it. Oh, thank you. I will redo again and we'll be okay. It's just one of those days. So I'm proving to you, I'll try to get it on. Okay, I'm going to try. This is where it's not the easiest. You got to find a part where you can put it on. I'm going to try like right here where I've not tied it off yet. Let me use the opener here. Get out of my way there, little doopy. Let me see if I can. Nope, I'm not getting it. I know you can. I just struggle bus at this, and that's why I end up not doing that and just redo it. Oh, I might got it now. I might have gotten it. I might have it. Holy buckets, I need this. Oh, I got it. I did it. Oh, that was a struggle. But I did it. Okay. Now I gotta look. I do not have my knots. Okay. Holy, I'm out of breath on that one. You guys can laugh at me. I was like holding my breath while I was doing it because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it. All right, we're going to pull that really tight here. There we go. We got that one. And we're going to do it over here. I got it, but it was not easy. Now we're going to pull this one. All right. Cut off our ends. I'm going to there we go. And we're going to cut off the end on this one. And hide that one in there. There we go. There we are. Got our third one. I'm going to go up now, everybody, so you guys can see them better than just halfway. All right. Okay. I'm just going to see. All right. I got all the comments on YouTube. I think I got them all. Here are our 3 examples that we just did. Not that one. We did this one. We did solids in just the solids together. We also have a different solid where we did, it was like red, white, blue, white. So you can do it however you want. You could even do like 2 of each color all the way around. Whatever works. This one is our print one, where we have 1 print bead in the mix. So that's that one. And then we have the hexagon one, where we use the hexagon beads and then some solids. We use the same solids. So yeah, so that is, and then here are some of our examples. So you can use any colors that you want, any pattern that you want to create. You just have to make it large enough that it's going to go over the wrist, and they can do this, and then they have this to hang on their keys. Or I have had my wallet on the end of this, and then just had my wallet hanging down. So yeah, so that's what these are. That's what I wanted to show you guys the other day, but I couldn't get to the beads to grab them to do that. So last night, when we created those 4 bead colors, you could do something like these with those. You would just have to purchase the split rings and the lobster clasp combination to do that. Tomorrow night on our live, I will have, I've got to go look for some more lobster clasps if I'm going to make more. But right now I have 11 kits made up. 1 is of solids. 1 is or 5 of them have the prints, and 5 of them have the hexagons in there. Well, hello, Disha. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it Disha? So we'll have 5 different kits. They're not the same color, 5 different colors. And then I'll have 5 kits like this. I have some kits made up of the print and the hexagon, but I got to go find more of those key rings to be able to get those for tomorrow night. So we'll have those as something for tomorrow night. But like anytime we are doing the silicone mixes or silicone beads, you will see I will have the different kinds. I have prints, I have solids, I have hexagons, all that. Tomorrow will be 7 o'clock Central Time on TikTok only. I mean, if you can grab them, and then you can, because we don't do them all at the same time. We've been going through a second round, as I call it, of the rounds. And I've been bringing the prints back, bringing those in. So you can do it that way. The blue and pink, like this one here, you like? Is that the one you're talking about? This one? Yes, yep. So yeah, and this is just a printed bead with the different colors that we have brought in. As you can see, they're all a little bit different. Okay, well that is really cool. So what grade is he graduating from? So we'll have those tomorrow. So that means we'll have to have somebody help me, or we have to remember to use letters or numbers, I'm sorry, when we do that. You don't look old enough to have a high schooler, Ashley. In all honesty, I would have never guessed that. Ah. So yeah, so that is what I wanted to show you guys, is that it can be fun to do that. And so I hope you guys, just being able to show you. Okay, I am going to do this. I'm putting you in timeout. And then I am also, there we go. Sorry. We got our troll back again, everybody, that we've had on YouTube, and I had to put him in timeout. I hate doing that. You guys all know me. It takes a lot. But when you sit there and say that same stuff twice, nope, you're going to timeout now. Once I just delete your comment, second time, you're going to timeout. All right. That is what I wanted to show you today. Remember, I will be back on both on YouTube and on TikTok at 2 p.m. Central. We will be having chat time. So if you guys have questions, you can bring them in. You can ask any type of question about jewelry making, about running a small business, that type of thing. Bring those in so that we can have a really good chat time. And then at 8 p.m. Central tonight, I will be back both on YouTube and TikTok. And we are going to have a discussion about, I was going to say this is my pink and white one. The discussion tonight is organization. I said it's a tutorial, but I think I would love it to turn into a discussion where you guys can share what you guys do for your organization. We can talk about mine, and then you can go in and we can get what will work for you. Thank you, Craft167, for the follow. Disha, I don't have another one because I don't have the beads here right by me to be able to create another one. It is you create it with using nylon cord that is either 1.5 or 2 millimeters. You use the loop turners. Let me find my loop turner here to put your silicone beads on. That's what these are, a silicone 15 millimeter round in what pattern you want. And this is a 14 millimeter octagon. And you put those on the loop turner. Then you take the loop turner and that's not snag. You put your cord in there and then push the beads on to get the beads on the cord. After you get it on the cord, you tie knots in it, and that is how it ends up looking like this. Is because and then you also got to remember to put this on. When I get off of the live here, yep, I will. When I get off the live, I do save all of my lives on YouTube so everybody can go back and watch them. So those of you that are on TikTok, if you go to that CJS logo at the top, CJS logo at the bottom, you get to my profile. There's a line in there that says Lemon 8 and more. Touch that line. Down below, you'll have 2 boxes. The one that says tree in it, touch that box, and then you will get a list. Go all the way to the bottom. You'll find YouTube. Touch that. It sends you over to YouTube, and you can subscribe to me there. Oh, yes. Go ahead and please go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. You will be able to watch my replays there. And then when I go live, if you turn notifications on, you will get notified when my lives have been uploaded, when I upload shorts or videos. And then you can just see what I do. I do all kinds of jewelry making. This is the white cases that I have behind me. I got it upside down. It goes this way. Sorry. Hold on. Let me shut it. They have a tray. So you see there's a tray here and a lid. There are different sizes in each one of the trays. There's the large. There is medium. This one is a small. And this one they call tiny. These are called Elizabeth Ward Bead Storage Solution Containers. You can get them on the Moo or from the Zon. And just, I have Elizabeth Ward's Bead Storage Solutions. I don't have the same times, Disha, for the lives. There is a short video that I put out every Sunday on YouTube that tells you what times I'm going to go live each day. I do not go live on Sundays. But if you watch that one, it will give you each time I go live, okay? So today I will go live again at 2 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. Central. Tomorrow it is 11 on TikTok only and 7 on TikTok only. When I sell, I only sell on TikTok. All right? But each container, I want to show you here, has a little latch on the side. You just use your finger and it opens up, and then each one has its own lid. So then you don't spill them when you carry them around. But you can find them as 7 p.m. Central tomorrow night. That is what they are. But you can find what I will call knockoffs by putting in bead storage or white bead storage and try finding them that way. Okay? I do not sell those because my distributor that I was getting them from when I created that was bought out by Michaels, and Michaels does not sell them. Thank you. Fluff around and find out. I love your name. You're welcome. Oh, all right. I am going to hop off. I'm going to go work with the ladies this afternoon to get our stuff. Well, if you're going to purchase from me, I do it on TikTok is where I sell it at. I don't have it online. And then if you can also buy everything I'm showing, you can go on Amazon and purchase it also. I'm not the only person. There's other people that sell too. The clear ones next to it, these are, we'll be talking about these. These are just the craft boxes, or you can buy these boxes at Menards. So we're going to talk about these tonight. We're going to talk about all of it at 8 p.m. tonight. And that's 8 p.m. Central. So for you, Rainbow, it's 6. Yep, you can buy Korean bead boxes. Yep. Thank you, Casey, for the follow. So I hope you guys enjoyed today and what we showed you on how to do the wristlet. 2 o'clock is a chat time. But if you want to know more about how I evolved into this storage, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Join me at 8 p.m. I have a lot of information I want to share with you about organization, how you can get to this if this works for you. We're going to talk about how this doesn't work for everybody. And what will work for you is what you'll have to figure out. And I'll explain that more tonight. My name is Carol. My business name is CarolJo's, which is my first and middle name. And a fun fact, everybody, my first name is just Carol. It's not Carolyn or anything like that. It's just Carol. So I named my business CarolJo's with my first and middle name. So come back tonight at 8 p.m. Central. So if you are Eastern, that will be 9. And then 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and then 6 Pacific. So we'll see you then. And we will talk about all of this and give you guys thoughts. I don't give away the bracelets right now or the wristlets here, because I have an in-person event coming up. What I'm doing right now is that when we get to certain goals, I do give away I just give away a $5 coupon for your orders. That's what I'm doing right now. All right, everybody, I'm going to hop off. Thank you. Thank you, Lana. Is it Lana or Lan? Is that how you pronounce it? If I'm pronouncing it wrong, can you tell me how to pronounce it? But I'm going to hop off, and we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.